The college football experience, ACC and Mountain West. Well, I mean, conference predictions. We are finally here. Episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBet. Bet $100 at WynnBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by IP Vanish. Yes, IP Vanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off if you go to ipvanish.com/SGP. That's ipvanish.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by SGPN Discord. Yes, make sure to check out our new Discord channel. It is fantastic. This is the perfect place to interact and sweat out bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord.
This is Brian Bosworth, aka The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience, ACC and Mountain West Conference predictions. We are finally here. We have been waiting for this all along, and it's time where we make our picks. We talk about our locks. We talk about each and every team in these conferences, and we will be doing this next week and the week after and the week after, and then boom, the season kicks off. We are here. I am joined by. Well, actually, wait. I didn't tell you who I was. See, I'm all over the place right now. You're listening to Colby swinging database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick. This is what I'm doing. I'm offbeat here. I'm offbeat. Just going right into that. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back. The burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh up.
Yes, it is conference predictions time.
Yeah, buddy.
Been waiting a long time. Sound like Ric Flair now.
Speaking of which, shout out to Woo Wings.
Yeah, Woo Wings. Ric Flair's got a wing company coming out.
I think there's one in Charlotte, if I saw that correct, Nick.
There better be, because that's where he resides. We are joined by the ACC god himself. Give it up for former. No, I can't do that. Former Herndon Basketball League MVP, the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lock giving. Former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. News to me, Patty, but I'll have to check it out, man.
I'm going to double check on that right now, but I know there's apparently one in LA. I think for the time being, you just have to order it through Uber Eats.
Speaking of Flair, I heard he's going to make one more ring appearance also. Like I'm not a wrestling guy
I think that just
anymore.
ended. I think that already happened. I think that just happened like this past week.
Oh, well, late to the party. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but he's a legend, and we love. Hold on, let's send him off. Here we go.
It's so hard for me to sit back here in this studio looking at a guy out here hollering my name when last year I spent more money on spilt liquor in bars from one side of this world to the other than you made.
Whoo!
Check that. Not in Charlotte. We
really?
got LA, Nashville, San Antonio, Huntsville, Jacksonville, and Tuscaloosa. So those Alabama folks.
He's a North Carolina guy. What the hell? Come on, Flair.
It's coming. Don't worry.
It's coming. It's
All
coming.
Right. Hey, our chat is active already. Noah, what up? Tom Gromek, what's going on?
Oh, snap.
Yes, what up? Hop on in the chat. Talk with us. Well, college football season is here. This is like the beginning. All right. I know we're still breaking down teams.
This month, guys, we have college football this month.
Yeah, no, we're at the point where this is conference predictions. You know, I know we talked about this shit back in like February, I feel like, or I don't know, April or something. But now we're at the point where we're making our projections. It is here. So
getting official up in here.
yes, and I mean, there was what? Did you guys see that Tommy Tuberville working on NIL bill? Count on a football coach. Someone got to him, all right, because he's working on an NIL bill. We thought we would have no change, and maybe we'll see.
I'm curious as to since he's an Auburn guy, you figure he want to pump the brakes on the NIL since Alabama's
not necessarily
rolling in so much. Yeah, that's true though.
Yeah.
Auburn wants to pay. I'm sure they want to pay.
No. I'm saying, but I think that would cap it. So I think he's doing that for Auburn to stay in the arms race with Bama.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He does not want to try and deal with Bama right now, money wise.
Either way,
that
I
would
it was
just
hilarious.
be within the state. That wouldn't be. I mean, he doesn't have any control. This is a nationwide thing. You're talking about just in Alabama.
No, I mean,
No?
what? He's a senator, right? So he couldn't he?
Introduce legislation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just a guy who gets drunk and watches football. You're asking me now about politics? All right.
I don't know how they would have any jurisdiction over that. I would think like if it's a state university, the state would have control. Somewhat, who knows? This is beyond us. Yeah, this is not why people are tuning in.
Go watch some Schoolhouse
Damn
Rock.
it! I'm trying to find my David Thompson clip, but I can't find it. Oh man!
How many hours of C-SPAN have you watched this year, Patty C?
Oh man, I can count on one hand.
I
The
feel
number of minutes, probably the number of seconds.
I feel like I must have accidentally deleted it. Anyway, here.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
There you go.
That's right. So let's just hop into this, folks. All right, give me some fucking music, and let's start firing away. So, yes, this is the kickoff show. We're gonna talk the Atlantic Coast Conference because it might be the last time there ever is an Atlantic Coast
Bite your
Conference.
tongue.
We're gonna talk Mountain West because it is. Look, the Sun Belt, they're getting a lot of accolades, and rightfully so. I think they took that model from the Mountain West. You know what I mean? Mountain West kind of started
They've been
this
doing that
thing
for a while. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, let's hop into it. Let's talk ACC. We're going to go team by team first, and then we're going to make our projections on what we have in the ACC Championship and what we think. So the Clemson Tigers are sitting there at 10.5 wins, folks. Do we believe that the offense will be fixed with the Clemson Tigers? And I'm very curious if you think they will be representing the ACC in Charlotte. Shout out to the ACC for actually doing a conference championship that's outdoors. So what do we think, guys, of the Clemson Tigers this year?
Started off at the top, huh?
Starting off at the top. Not necessarily. Pittsburgh would be the top.
That's
buddy.
true. That's true. Reigning champs Pitt, but traditional, I guess over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, Clemson's been that team. Look, I mean, are we just going to dive straight into the number, or do we think? Are we talking about
what do you make of Clemson? You think they're going to bounce back this year?
I don't even think they really took a step back. I think a 10-3 season is pretty damn respectable.
If you watched them last year, they took a step back.
Definitely.
Oh, they took a step back, but like not a huge one. Do I think they're going to be back as national title contenders this year? No, I don't. I think they might make the playoff, but I think they'll get smashed if they get in the playoffs. Granted, they only lost to Georgia by 7 last year in Georgia. So, in Charlotte. In Charlotte, that's right.
I think it all comes down to quarterback play. I mean, is Ukulele ready to play much better than a season ago? If not, can the true freshman Cade Klubnik come in? I mean, Clemson has had the luxury of very good quarterback play for about a decade or so, it seems. With Lawrence, with what's his name?
I can't think of his name because he's only on every fucking news outlet.
Deshaun Watson. Even in between those guys, they had a guy that started for a year. Then he transferred to
Taj Boyd.
Taj Boyd, good pull.
Yeah,
nice.
So they've had good quarterback play for a long time, and they did not get it a year ago, and that was a big reason why they struggled on offense.
Who was the guy that went to Missouri?
Willie
Kelly Bryant.
Oh no, not Kelly Bryant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willie, not Willie Simmons. Kelly Bryant was that answer.
Okay.
You said what now, Nick? You think they've had excellent quarterback play
for a long time, and they didn't have it last year. I mean, that was one of their problems. Also, like if you look, I mean, they still have talent, especially on defense, but offensively, like you don't see the stars, you don't see the Travis Etiennes, you don't see the Mike Williams, you don't see the T. Higgins, and they were young last year, so I think there's hope. But the question is, like, was last year like a total aberration, and are we short selling them, or are they starting to slip a little bit? Is Dabo not quite ready to entertain the whole transfer portal and NIL and all that good stuff? Because he has been a little hesitant there.
And they lost both coordinators at some point. I think we've seen this with everybody, even Joe Paterno to Bobby Bowden. They go through these rough patches when they don't adjust, or if they adjust late. And yeah, sometimes they can find a couple winning seasons later. The fact, but it starts with a 3 or 4 year window of going downhill.
You're right. That coordinator thing is a massive X factor because Elliott had been there for a long time. Venables had been there for a long time. And that's continuity. That's like kind of the bread and butter of the Clemson program. And if they don't have that going, a slight slip should be expected.
And if you look at it, they had the 100th best offense in the country last year. That's insane. Playing a very average ACC and average defenses in the ACC, to have that bad of an offense is crazy. They were dead last in passing efficiency in the ACC.
Yeah.
And you look, I mean, there's 5 stars, up and down that roster on offense as well. So that was very surprising. The question is, is it going to be more of a repeat, more of the same, or was it just a 1 year, dip?
And I would argue the question is I think there is blood in the water, but it's why I get frustrated with the ACC. Will anyone step up? Wake Forest is doing its best job. Dave Clawson's a fucking legend, but that's the one team that's completely going to get destroyed by Clemson because they can't block them. If NC State had any cojones, which we know they don't, and they're pretenders, you know what I mean? Like Florida State, no pretenders. Can somebody please step up?
Well, look, maybe we should look at the schedule here, and maybe we should say that, what the line is at 10.5.
And I'm going under, but I still have them. I think they're in the driver's seat in the Atlantic.
So we agree that they started the year off 3-0 without breaking a sweat, beating Georgia Tech, Furman, Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this though. If they haven't fixed the offense, Georgia Tech almost beat them last year. They needed a goal line stand. To beat Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech didn't have Jeff Sims that game. They started Jordan Yates. So I'm still taking them to go 3-0 though. Yes, to answer your question.
And then there's the road trip at Wake Forest. They've had zero problems with Wake Forest. As great of a job Clawson's doing there.
Yeah, that defensive line is going to destroy them. They tried this short passing game with all your little wide receiver screens and shit. It ain't going to work. Yeah.
What's that super delayed mesh point they do with their inside zone? And it's just like, I'm just going to take their offensive lineman and
throw them.
That running style is like frustrating. Like you want to see the back hit the hole, and they teach their backs to kind of just, be patient, be like over patient.
No, it works.
And I mean, it kind of works. I mean,
it works if they can hold their blocks.
Yeah, it works if they're not playing Clemson.
Well, we saw Kenneth Walker look a lot better at Michigan State than we did at Wake Forest. He was good at Wake, don't get me wrong.
True.
But like unleash your running backs. If you have talent there, unleash them. That hesitation thing kind of irritates me.
It's irritating to watch, but give Clawson credit. He's taking
shit,
tiny little school in Wake Forest and made that offense explode.
He's doing a fantastic job. No doubt.
I'll be honest. I love the hire they did of Brad Lambert at defensive coordinator. Yes. I think he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. And I want to take Wake Forest to play in the championship game, but I know they're going to lose to Clemson. So that means I need Clemson to lose twice. I think Wake could run the table in the ACC besides Clemson. The question is, could anyone beat Clemson? Like Clemson's road schedule is a fucking joke in the conference. All right.
Yes,
they got to play.
So we're talking two different things here. We're talking over under win total, and we're talking, win the conference. Within the conference, their toughest games are at home. That includes NC State, Miami, and
Syracuse.
Louisville.
No, Syracuse plays them tough like every year, I feel like.
I mean, I guess you could argue Wake Forest is a tough game too. I mean, Wake Forest is a tough road trip, but not traditionally for Clemson. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
Basically, how many games in conference are they going to lose?
I think one.
Yeah,
and that's in Chestnut Hill.
They'll get caught somewhere. I think if they do have those offensive problems, and as much as I think when the few times I watched Shipley run the ball, Will Shipley, early on I said, oh, he's slow, he's white, and then later on I watched, I was like, he's almost there, he's almost figured it out, and that's kind of what happened with Travion Henderson, where I was like, he's not up to college speed yet, and then he got there in a hurry. And I think Will Shipley may take a step forward. I still don't know if they have the wide receiver threats.
We're putting Will Shipley and Trayvon Henderson in the same
not in the same conversation. I'm just saying. There's a guy.
I like Shipley. Shipley. He's gonna be a good college player.
Yeah, there's guys that have it though, and there's guys that don't. There's guys that can make it happen, be playmakers, or you're not. And I think he's about to enter into playmaker, which is what they projected him as. He's like legit 4-4 guy. So like. But it wasn't clicking for him. But I saw a little bit of signs with him.
Shout out to Joe Hackney. He says, guys, Clemson averaged only 11 more passing yards than Iowa with Spencer Petras last year. Touche. Yeah. Touche.
That is, and I believe, I mean, there's a lot of nuggets you can pull up on Iowa's passing game, and that was horrible. And I also think Clemson struggled with big plays. I don't have the numbers in front of me for big plays though, like plays over 20 yards. I think Clemson really struggled to do that. That's another factor of this is it doesn't matter how good Shipley is if they can't throw the ball, because the defense. Well, I guess I don't know. I mean, if you're playing, I don't know, but Florida State's defense, maybe you can get away with still running the ball and them knowing that you're running it. But I do think you become so predictable that.
Well, yeah, they close down your running lanes if you can't throw the ball. It bogs down your entire offense. You have to be firing on both cylinders for it to be an explosive offense. I want to see where they were, because last year in scoring offense, they were where? They were 82, but in 2020, they were number 4 in the country in scoring offense. So we can maybe say that this was a 1-year thing. I know obviously Trevor Lawrence was there in 2020. Can we assume Ukulele is going to take a step forward at all?
I wouldn't say that type of step forward.
And if he doesn't, is a true freshman Cade Klubnik ready? I mean, he was a very high recruit, but is he ready to step in right away? You have to. There's a learning curve. Like I would assume
the numbers go up, but I just don't know. Like how I think you're susceptible if you're up 20 spots, if you're in the 60s, you are susceptible for more losses. You look at last year's schedule. I think they were very fortunate to. I actually think you can throw them in the Michigan State bin as far as like one of the luckier teams in college football, because Georgia Tech was at the 1-yard line knocking on the door. Boston College without Phil Jerkovic only lost by 6. Syracuse missed a game-tying field goal. Louisville was at the 1-yard line 4 tries and got stopped. The Florida State game was closer than the score. I think you can make a case. Even the Iowa State bowl game. What, didn't a bunch of players not play for Iowa State? I think you can make a case that I don't know that they turned that corner last year.
Yeah, and one other thing. So maybe the offense is a little bit better this year. Well, the defense only brings back 61% of their production, which is 89th in the country. Granted, like they got talent and athleticism, and they got really good players coming up there on that defense, but the defense might not be quite as good as last year either, because it's going to be younger.
Well, it can afford to be significantly worse and still be a damn good defense. Number 2 scoring defense in the country.
I expect them to take a step forward on offense, but a step back on defense, just because Brent Venables is gone.
Yeah. I expect them to be a slightly better team. I don't know about 9-3 in the regular season. I would say 10-2, which is still the under. Especially with Notre Dame.
I think
they're
going to lose at Notre Dame.
That's the thing. Like if you're looking at a win total out of conference, really, you have at Notre Dame and I guess home for South Carolina. Obviously Clemson has owned the Gamecocks lately, but really the over/under might come down to that Notre Dame game.
Agreed.
Yeah. No, I took a shot on them losing to Boston College and Notre Dame when I filled out those are the 2 I thought. I don't feel confident with the Boston College play. I just feel like someone's going to get them. Boston College almost beat them without Jerkovic last year, so maybe with Jerkovic, they can accomplish that. I just think that their offense won't be good enough to just run the table.
I'd say
4 week stretch. Go ahead, Nick.
I would say earlier in the offseason, I was more down on Clemson, but I'm a little concerned we may, just be looking at last year and say, there's no way they're going to come back to what they were for the last 5 or 10 years. I'm still on the under here. I do agree. I think they go 10-2. I have them winning the Atlantic, but I have them also going under. Not one of my favorite plays. I was higher on it earlier in the year. I don't know. It's a very interesting year for Clemson. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Could go a number of different ways depending on how they adjust.
So the team that everyone's talking about that could beat Clemson, every single team every single publication, is talking about, I mean, you go to ESPN, you go to wherever, they're saying NC State, this is the year NC State does it. I'm not buying in. I think NC State was even luckier than Clemson last year. When you consider, they missed, I mean, they didn't play Jerkovic. They didn't play a couple quarterbacks that they didn't play Florida State with Travis. They had it with Mackenzie Milton. They also play at East Carolina, so they're going to lose. So what do you make? I mean, I personally would have Wake Forest ahead of NC State. I don't understand I get it. The returning production, I guess that I understand that, but they're still NC State. Are any of you taking NC State seriously to win the ACC Atlantic?
You have
to win the Atlantic. Yeah,
you have to. I mean, you have to take them seriously.
Yeah.
To win the Atlantic, I'm not.
They're one of 3 teams that could do it. I mean, what's your definition on seriously? I mean, they went 9-3 in the regular season last year. Their 2 ACC losses were by a combined 4 points, both on the road at Miami, at Wake Forest. Of course, you have to take them seriously. Like, look, we did our NC State preview. We were both actually on the under, and I am very concerned about the hype because I think it's impossible for the players not to hear everybody talking about NC State. I mean, everybody is. And I live in Raleigh, and I can tell you when the expectations are high, usually the Wolfpack buckle. I'm not a hater. I want them to do well. I'm just telling you that that's usually the case. But you have to say that they're a main player, of course.
I have them on the same level as Louisville.
That's a bit unfair.
Disrespect.
Really?
That is a bit disrespectful.
Look, can I bring up my case on Louisville last year?
Well, NC State won by 15 against Louisville. How about that for starters?
Okay.
Boom, get him, NC Nick.
Okay,
get him, NC Nick.
but Louisville lost at Wake by 3. They lost by 1 to Virginia. They lost by 6 to Clemson at the 1 yard line. This was a team that was pretty fucking close to being a 9-win team.
Okay, I mean, NC State lost by 3 at Wake Forest. They beat Clemson, and I mentioned they beat Louisville.
Yes.
So you're saying Louisville's a contender to win the Atlantic, but NC State isn't?
I have them on the same level. I said
NC State's a notch above. I mean,
I disagree.
NC State's win total is 8.5. Louisville's is 6.5. That should tell you everything that you need to know.
That's my point of me calling it out. Is I'm saying I have them in the same tier.
Now, let me push back with some stats for you right here. Louisville last year, or NC State last year, number 29 offense. Louisville number 41 offense. NC State last year, number, gosh, I just had it a second ago. I know Louisville NC State number 14 defense. Louisville number 77 defense. So significant difference on the defense. Similar offensively. So Malik Cunningham.
Here's my point though. Those defensive numbers, yes, they played better than on Louisville on defense last year, but I also think they caught the breaks. They got Clemson in the first ACC game. That offense got better. The Clemson offense was better at the end of the year than the beginning of the year. They caught Boston College without Phil Jerkovic. They caught Miami that was what Van Dyke's like first or second start, right? They caught Florida State without Travis, and they had Mackenzie Milton. And I believe, did Sam Howell play the final game of the year?
I'm pretty sure Sam Howell didn't play the game against Furman.
Okay. I know he missed. I know he missed a game, but
yes, NC State limited Sam Howell to under 150 yards passing, 1 touchdown and 1 interception in the game in Raleigh against NC State. I see your point, but also NC State lost arguably their 2 best defensive players out for the year very early in the season, so that wasn't catching a break. So they're loaded on defense. Offensively, they lose their top 2 running backs, their top receiver, but Leary has been there forever by now. I think that offense, they're going to be able to fill those holes at running back and receiver. Got a lot of the offensive line coming back. I think you have to put NC State above Louisville right now, and I think they'll finish probably with at least 1, if not 2 more wins than the Cardinals.
I agree.
I disagree. And mainly you look, and to me, the hardest thing to do in college football is win on the road. What they did last year by getting Boston College on the road, getting Florida State on the road with their backup quarterbacks, they're not going to be that lucky this year. And to me, you replace those with losses, you have a 7-5 team. And I think that's what they're kind of going to look like when it's all said and done.
Could be.
Well, I mean, you replace it with losses. I mean, they beat Florida State by 14 and they beat Boston College by 26. So
let's go to the schedule. Let's go to the schedule. Let's take a look.
Well,
I agree that they have backup quarterbacks, but
Dude.
I don't think even if the starting quarterbacks for BC and Florida State were in, I don't think you automatically chalk them up as L's.
Maybe you can make the case with Florida State. With Boston College, the jump from Jerkovic to Groskell, oh my fucking God. That is a catastrophic difference to me.
Agreed,
that was a catastrophic difference.
That doesn't equal an automatic win for BC.
Oh, I just think they would have lost those games. NC State sucks on the road every year. All right.
You know what? Week one this year, we're gonna find out.
There we go. How about this? They go at ECU, at Clemson, at Syracuse, at Louisville, at North Carolina. I see 5 losses right there.
Well,
I see 5 losses right there.
They've owned UNC and Chapel Hill lately. I think they've won 3 out of the last 4 road games. So that kind of disproves a little bit what you said there.
I mean, is that really a road game?
You said on the road, man.
Yeah, right? That's true. That's true. But I'm saying they're not getting on a fucking plane. They're going to drive 10 minutes
to that wine and cheese crowd.
Hostile environment in North Carolina.
But I'm making a bet with you right now, buddy. Louisville beats NC State in Louisville.
Wow.
I can see it happening.
Wow.
Look, boom.
There it is.
I know right now it seems like I'm very high on NC State. Colby is not, and I actually have NC State probably going 8-4 this year. I have the under. I don't have NC State winning the Atlantic. But at the same time, you don't have to be disrespectful because Dorn's doing a hell of a job there. And 8-4 is still a pretty good season.
Getting to him a little, Colby. Getting to him.
8-4 is pretty good. 8-4 is a pretty good season, but I don't got him 8-4. I got him 7-5 or 6-6. Talk to me after the season. Bro. I can't wait to see the Wolfpack.
Let me tell you what.
6-6.
Since 2003, they've got to 9 wins, which you'll have to get in order to get the over. Since 2003, they've gotten to 9 wins once in the regular season. It was last year. So, odds they replicate that with a couple what look like potential losses. I just didn't see it. I didn't see the X factor.
They gave Clemson every chance to win that game, by the way, too.
They did.
That was they missed some.
Don't get me wrong.
Field goals.
They're a good team. 7-5, 8-4. I think is right. I'm on the under.
But if you want to go pecking order, you would. My argument was I think Wake Forest should be nationally second in the ACC. Like,
Agreed.
Yes. Everyone's saying NC State is the team that some people have them ahead of Clemson.
Perhaps we should end with this. All right. Mark Twain once said, whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. And
take the road less traveled.
All of us are on NC State and the under. We are not part of the majority because everybody is screaming NC State, NC State, NC State. So take that for what it's worth.
Another great quote.
This is where we make our money.
The Mark Twain said is he goes, you hit the road, you lose in college football. All right. All right. And I believe in that. Quote, you got to go deep for that one, man. All right. All right. Well, let's talk. Let's talk then Wake Forest. Wake Forest Demon Deacs. What path do you think? I mean, I actually think they could go 11-1 and miss out on the fucking ACC championship. because of that loss to Clemson, because Clemson would have the tiebreaker. You pull up the Demon Deacon schedule. I don't know. I mean, where's the losses? They have NC State's number. Louisville probably, right? I got Louisville winning the national championship, guys.
What was the count in that Louisville game last year? They won 37-34.
Those games are wild. The Wakey leaks.
Yeah, in Winston-Salem. So now they got to go to the Shack this year.
No, Wake's schedule is genius. I mean, I guess you can chalk up Clemson as a loss. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at home. Maybe one of these years they finally show up. You're probably right. Other than that, there is not any surefire L. If anything, I think they might be favored in every other game other than maybe at NC State, but they've owned NC State lately. So people that are sleeping on Wake Forest, do so at your own peril, potentially.
And I do believe we were talking injuries in NC State. I think Wake Forest, if memory serves me correct, was like one of the most injured teams in the nation last year. They lost their wide receiver for the season before the season even started. They got hit on the offense and defensive line, and I think they lost their top linebacker for the year last year as well. So this team and getting Brad Lambert, I'm telling you, Dave Clawson.
Look, we saw when there was a good defensive coordinator at Wake Forest, Mike Elko, current head coach of Duke. He had those defenses, I think, like ranked in like the 40s or so, which is really good for Wake Forest because I think last couple of years have been like in the 90s or even north of 100. So if you compare a little defense with that offense that's going to hum, I mean, Hartman for Heisman, right? So if that defense can improve, then you're looking at a Wake Forest team which could be better than last year, even if they do lose Jaquari Roberson and Beal Smith and some of the other playmakers. But I think Wake is not going anywhere.
So I have my pecking order in the Atlantic. I'm putting Clemson at 1 because I think they beat Wake. Wake at 2. At 3, I have the Louisville Cardinal.
Wow.
Do you have NC State at 3, Nick?
Yes, of course.
Patty C, what do you have?
I do too. I think Louisville's got too many question marks. The 77 defense versus that 14 defense, that stands out. Stands out.
And I have even another team higher than Louisville.
Wow.
And that is Boston College. And new to the chat, Matty Ice 23. I'm guessing he's a BC guy. What's up, man? I don't think you can just say Louisville's better than Boston College, especially if you have a healthy Jerkovic all year.
Well, I mean, I hasn't Louisville owned them lately? I feel like I thought that was
like Hafley is still what is this, year 3 for him? How many years is that for Hafley?
This is 3. This is 3 for him.
So the dude, he's a right guy for the job. He's turning around the program. You get a healthy quarterback play. You're right that without Jerkovic, the offense was rough. You got Garwo coming back, who's a good running back. I don't know. I just think that they've been snake bit with injuries of late, and if they can get relatively healthy this year, I think they're probably the 4th best team over Louisville.
I mean, I'm on the over in BC. I think they're better than what people realize, and I think Phil Jerk, like seeing all these people talk about Devin Leary and Ryan Van Dyke and stuff. I think the best quarterbacks in this league are Hartman, Brennan Armstrong, Phil Jerkovic.
Cunningham?
Malik Cunningham too. Sorry. I think those 4, and I would actually have Cunningham ahead of Jerkovic.
Maybe not as a pro prospect, but as a college player.
I could give a shit about pro football. All right. I'm talking.
Fair enough.
My problem with Louisville, it's been the same thing. I mean, they've been so finesse. The defense has been so soft under Satterfield. I'm wearing an App State hat here. I'm a Satterfield guy, but I'm surprised with their lack of physicality since he's got there.
Well, it's easy to see a tide turn, buddy, because you lose that many close games. Now, let me ask you. I
got a little tidbit I want to throw in real quick.
What's that? Go.
Wake Forest, number 4 scoring offense in the country last year, number 88 scoring defense in the country. Brad Lambert at Purdue, who has a similar offensive MO as Wake Forest, like get the ball down the field, move fast. He had the number 34 defense as his first stop.
If you looked at Purdue's defense the year before, it was terrible.
It was terrible. And guess what? He was Marshall's defensive coordinator the year before.
Number 1 in the nation.
Number 1 in the nation.
Yeah.
So and 47 the year before is the
He's
DC.
a Bill Snyder guy. It was a great fucking hire. Absolutely great hire.
If Wake can jump into that top 50, top 40 defensively and maintain that offense, hey, they are the number 2, obviously, at that point.
I know we're jumping around everywhere right here, but maybe we can organize this a little bit. But look at Louisville's road trips. Starting off right off the bat at Syracuse. They should win that. Then at UCF, I think that's a loss. I think Central Florida's better.
I think that's a 50-50 game, but
I think Louisville was fortunate to win last year. I think the Golden Knights, the very Golden Knights, win at home.
I do favor UCF by like a field goal in that game, but it wouldn't shock me.
And then back-to-back road trips at Boston College, at UVA.
No fans, they can win those.
And then you're at Clemson, and you're at Kentucky, who has also owned you of late.
They'll probably lose to Kentucky too.
So obviously that doesn't affect their ACC record, but still, I think that 6 true road games, not an easy one in there.
All right, but let me ask you about Boston College. All right, at Virginia Tech, at Florida State.
Okay, those are not too daunting.
Dude, Boston College lost to Florida State last year in Chestnut Hill. All right,
I'm just saying.
Jerkovic, right? Then at Wake Forest. Then Patty C's game at UConn. Don't sleep on the Huskies. And then at NC State and at Notre Dame. I would argue they have a harder road schedule.
Oh, I don't think so. That's tough also. Trust me, that's tough also. But at UCF or at UConn, which one's tougher?
Well, okay.
And you give me at Virginia Tech, at Florida State. Those were 500 teams a year ago.
Does anyone give a rat's ass about the pecking order from number 3 to number 5?
I want your pecking order.
ACC Atlantic.
I want your pecking order of the Atlantic.
That's a fair point, Patty.
My pecking order in the ACC Atlantic is Clemson number 1, maybe Wake number 1, but probably Clemson, just because they're going to beat them head to head. Then I'm going NC State. I'm buying a little bit of that hype.
Over Wake.
No, Wake's number 2.
Oh, Wake number 2. NC State
number 3. I'm going Boston College number 4. I'm going Louisville number 5, and you have sold me that Florida State is donezo, but again, turnkey program. You say the talent's not there. I watched a little tape. The talent is there. The talent is there, Colby.
Well, you're apparently not if you're projecting them that far back in the ACC.
Well, you have sold me that they're going to be terrible. History has to take over at some point.
We do need to talk about Florida State because I've been hearing more and more people high on Florida State, and I'm not buying it yet.
It happens every year.
I'm not buying it yet.
Yeah, I went back and listened to our locks episode from last year. Patty C was on the over on Florida State. That was one of those ones.
What, I missed it by a half game, and they lost on a Hail Mary, on 80-yard Hail Mary.
That wasn't even a Hail Mary. That was like a deep post.
It was terrible. Right? Don't get me wrong. One of the worst defensive plays I've ever seen.
They also lost to Jacksonville State. Is that where?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they had gotten that win, they would have had the over, and I would be the one talking shit right now.
People have been saying that the second half of the year, Florida State looked a lot better. I guess they beat Miami at home by 3. And
that was
they
a
beat
wild
Boston
game.
College by 3. Those were 2 good wins. Then they lost to Florida, which that was a Florida team that had quit.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
It was in the swamp. They lost by 3, but that wasn't impressive.
Hate. You are 90s ACC fans, just like I am. Only you can't let it go.
Well, are you going over? Are you going over 6.5 wins?
No, I'm going under.
What's the lock you feel best about in the Atlantic? Because I'll have the listeners know we were spot on last year. We locked the over on NC State. Me and Nick cashed on that. We also, what did we have? I think Wake. We locked up Wake as well, and that cashed. What's the one? To me, it's Louisville over 6.5. That's my favorite play in the Atlantic.
Wow,
yeah.
I thought that was one of the toughest ones to pick. I took over on Louisville. I think they're probably a 7-5 team this year. I'm shocked that it's your lock though. If anything, the team we just mentioned, I'll take the under on Florida State.
I do like that
Syracuse
a lot too.
Under on Syracuse might be appealing also.
I got the over on Wake. That seems. I mean, the non-conference schedule: VMI, Vandy, Liberty. Who else are they even?
Army.
They could actually, but they get them at home. And then look, that's a cakewalk for Wake if they're anywhere near as good, and especially if Lambert's a good defensive coordinator.
I think you might be right. I think that 2 good points there. I do like the Florida State. I do like the Wake. On our locks episode, I'm pretty sure you're going to hear me call a couple of these, but I do like Louisville a lot. I think they're more talented than what people think.
I do think Cunningham is not getting enough love. He's basically Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not quite, but B+ Lamar Jackson.
Watch them lose to Syracuse in the opener.
Lane Elliott, what's going on, man? How we doing?
All right. Well, look, do we want to talk about Syracuse at all? Do we want to talk about the Qs? What saves his job? What does Babers have to do? 6-6?
I think he has to go bowling. Yeah. And
6-6 on that schedule?
I think that's challenging.
I'm loading up the Qs, the Orange men's schedule. If they were to pull the upset against Louisville, they do have UConn on deck. Why is the whole ACC? Is UConn in the ACC?
Right.
I just saw NC State playing UConn. Then who? Boston College is at UConn. Syracuse is at UConn.
The Mexico State of the SEC.
I mean, hold on. I can see. Okay, so if they beat UConn 1, they got Wagner 2. Maybe Florida State in the dome.
There's some potential. They could beat UVA at home.
They could.
But I think it's a tough schedule. I don't see them getting to 6. I think the more I look at this, I'm not a believer in Syracuse.
Slam the under.
Yeah, I think so.
What about what they hired UVA's offensive coordinator last year?
Robert Nye.
Yeah, Nye. Can that be? Will he know how to use Schrader?
So Garrett Schrader, as much as I love his style,
I love it. Man.
I'm
a big fan here.
The dude, I'm not sure if he can throw a forward pass.
But he can run, man.
At some point, I mean, look, 3 weeks in a row, they play NC State, Clemson, and Notre Dame, and then Pitt. Those are 4 tough defenses.
Yeah, they're going to get their ass kicked.
He had 781 rushing yards last year and only 1,400 passing yards. That's a quat.
Yeah. I mean, should we lock up the under? Should that be in contention here? I know
it's tempting. Once again, I've heard some national publications are a little high on Syracuse. Again, I don't see it. I'm not buying. I'm on the under on the Qs.
Their away games are fucking brutal. They go to UConn. No one goes into Rentschler Field. It gets brutal. Then at Clemson, at Pitt, at Wake, at Boston College.
And especially ending the year with those 2 road trips at Wake, at BC. You know, I mean, is Babers even there at that point?
Look,
yeah.
These are Babers seasons at Syracuse.
I think he's a good coach.
Well, the stats say otherwise. 4-8,
hard place to win.
He had a 1-10-3 season. It was miraculous.
He should get a statue built for him.
That's true, exactly. But other than that, 5-7, 1-10, 5-7. So he's gotten the over once in 6 years so far. I think, especially with the schedule, take the under again.
He had some things working against him for the COVID year. I want to say like they couldn't practice or something. I remember
New York.
Something happened in COVID where he was really affected by that.
That's one state that actually was getting destroyed by COVID. So
shout out to the chat, by the way. Shout out to Lane Elliott. Shout out to Magic Man Blanco. Shout out to Joe Hackney and Ryan McIntyre.
Boom. The squad.
Got a great. The chat's rolling. Got any questions on ACC football? Let's answer them. All right. Fire those things away. All right.
All right. So picks for the Atlantic. Are we all 3 on Clemson? Is it that boring?
Unfortunately, dude, I want to take Wake. I love the Lambert hire. I just need Clemson to lose another game, and they don't play any fucking tough road games.
Look, Clemson, I mean, Clemson has owned the ACC lately. They didn't get there last year. It's not going to happen 2 years in a row. Give me Clemson.
But last year they had to go into NC State.
What's their odds on Clemson? Is it fairly decent odds? I mean, because in years past, like Clemson to win the Atlantic was, it's like there's no reason to bet it because you'd be laying so much juice, it'd be crazy.
Well, hold on, but I want to hammer this point home. To me, when I look at these teams, especially your top like 10 teams preseason, I always look for the road game. That's the trap spot. I was on Pitt beating Clemson before the season ever got kicked last year. Yeah. Right. I said, they're got to go to Pitt. They're going to lose that game, right? You look at the schedule here, and I don't feel confident with my Boston College play. I'm saying, that's the one they're going to lose, and in my head I'm like, sometimes I have a better feel, like when Ohio State played at Purdue or Iowa, and I was like, those are the ones they're going to lose. They don't really go into a hornet's nest, I mean, in conference, They get Georgia Tech in that Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They don't even play at fucking Bobby Dodd, right? Then they go to Wake. Then at BC. I mean, Florida State is the one, but I just think Florida State's so far behind it.
They weren't that far behind last year.
Yeah, but I just don't think they're good. Florida State.
Well, you're a certified hater, so
apparently I'm a hater on Clemson. So how the fuck? Which one am I right now? All right.
Well, speaking of
you're
Clemson,
giving Clemson love right now.
Speaking of Clemson, Magic Man Blanco says, "What happens to the ACC when Clemson leaves?" That's probably a podcast leaves. For a different time. I mean, I don't know if they're leaving anytime soon. I don't know if South Carolina
to be the big fish.
If I'm Dabo Swinney, as much as I want that SEC money, you might not want to leave.
And because South Carolina certainly does not want them in the SEC. Not that matters all that much. I mean, because A&M didn't want Texas either, and we saw what happened. But I don't know.
Tennessee didn't win Vandy.
When Clemson was like making the playoff every year, they'd be squeaking by 8-4 Auburn, 8-4 Texas A&M.
Yeah,
it's like that's what they're going to become in the SEC.
Yeah, they really will. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, I am taking Clemson to win. My pecking order goes like this: Clemson 1, Wake 2, Louisville 3, NC State 4, Boston College 5, Syracuse 6.
Where's
Florida State 6?
Oh, I'm sorry. Florida State 6, Syracuse 7. I can't count, guys. Patty C.
Roughly similar. I think we mentioned. I mean, if I'm gonna,
what's your basement? What's your basement?
Got to be Q's.
Q's.
Yeah,
agreed.
Do you have Boston College behind Florida State? No, you had Boston College ahead of Florida State.
I think I had Florida State second to last, just because I think their schedule's a little tough. But I think once you get past Clemson and Wake and really NC, I don't know. Florida State and Louisville about the same to me.
So let me ask you this: is Norvell Florida State's coach next year? This time, Babers, we all said no, right? He's gone because we said 6-6 would get him it.
I think Babers is gone.
I think Norvell's gone too. Personally, I think he has to win 7. I even think 6-6. He's not there.
It's year 3. Like, is Florida State becoming more realistic as who they are now and not who they used to be? Do they give him a 4th year?
I'm going
to say no.
They need to gauge prime time because I feel like he's the obvious guy.
Yeah.
And if he's ready to go, then boom, they pull the trigger. But if he wants to stay one more year at Jackson State, then they give Norvell another shot.
And nobody's hating on Norvell, but prime time, Dion as the coach of Florida State, I mean, how much fun is that?
Yeah,
too good.
I'm still hoping he goes to like Memphis. Actually, I'm hoping Jackson State comes the fuck up. All right, hey Sunbelt, open those doors.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, look, we gotta cut to commercial for a second here before we talk Coastal, the greatest division in all of football. I want to tell you though that the College Football Experience ACC and Mountain West season preview episodes are brought to you by WinBet. Yes. Right now, WinBet, you can bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by us, our SGPN Discord. Make sure to check out our new Discord server. It's the perfect place to interact and sweat out bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. I can't recommend, the season's right around the corner, guys. It is a lot of fun. I don't care. You could be at a funeral having fun on Discord. All right. You could just be sitting there saying, hey, oh man, are they going to cover this spread? And you're sitting, 20 of us sitting in the Discord channel talking about, oh man, fucking Louisville can't play defense, the run defense. It's just fun.
You're
all right.
So screaming at that funeral.
Hop in there. Yeah. You'll be at that funeral saying the run defense is still shit. All right. But anyway, check out the Discord channel. All right, we're back talking ACC football. Here we go with the Coastal. Odds on favorite is Miami at to win the division at +150. If you're buying into Mario Cristobal, Pitt and Pat Narduzzi, he might tell everyone to get fucked by the time the season starts. He already told Lincoln Riley that, and then he told Mark Whipple that. I'm kind of I feel like maybe I should change my pick to Pitt. Kind of love what Pat Narduzzi is doing over there. They're +260. Mac Brown Mac Brown plus 400 with the Tar Heels. UVA. I was shocked to see the odds on UVA here as the 4th favorite at plus 700 to win the Coastal. What am I missing here?
Their schedule.
Yeah, that's true. Virginia Tech is plus 1,000. Georgia Tech is plus 3,500, and Duke is plus 10 billion. I think.
Let me tell you one other thing that you're missing on UVA. You're judging Tony Elliott entirely on last year. I've heard you say it like a million times.
Yeah,
that you just
Rubbin's racing, buddy.
Rubbin is racing. That's true. Tony Elliott, Darlington champion. Look. They got a quarterback. They got a guy, right? And the ACC's up for grabs. So that's kind of all you need.
Brandon Armstrong should have transferred to Syracuse and followed his OC.
That's true. We probably would have put up similar stats.
What do you guys make of those odds? I was a bit surprised. I think Virginia was the one that stood out to me as well.
For me, like, I think it's a 2-horse race. Well, I guess it's not fair because it is the Coastal and anything goes.
It's a fucking really 7-horse race.
It's a 7-horse race. Yeah, Duke might be 50-1, but who knows? But the way I look at Miami and Pitt, Miami does get Pitt at home, but that's not that big of an advantage. But also Miami plays at Clemson. They get a cross-divisional game against Clemson. Pitt dodges Clemson. It might almost be as simple as that. If everything else is equal, I'm going Pitt to win the Coastal.
I had the hardest time doing this as far as the Coastal. Atlantic, I feel pretty fucking rock solid. The Coastal, I need a glass of whiskey just to play it out in my head. All right, because I'm just sitting there like, wait. So if we're following recruiting rankings, North Carolina should be the team to beat.
I'll pour you one.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. North Carolina should be the team to beat based on recruiting rankings this year, right?
You would think, yeah.
No,
okay,
me and Nick actually looked this up. We
looked
this up. Yeah. They're replacing 4 on the offensive line, and they're breaking in a brand new quarterback. But I do believe in Phil Longo's offense, right? I think you go back to watch the Old Miss games where Hugh Freeze was fucking with Nick Saban. Guess who that OC was? Phil Longo. I think Longo is a very good offensive coordinator, and I think this offense will be firing away regardless of who's quarterback, who's running back, who's wide receiver. And I do think there's value in them. I was sitting here in the office telling Kramer, I was like, dude, I think there's Virginia Tech's an enigma to me, and North Carolina's kind of an enigma, and I think both could really. All you got to do is win the division. I'm not saying like I know Carolina plays in back-to-back away games in the Sun Belt. You know what I mean? To start their like week 1 and week 2 of the season, but they could even lose to Notre Dame. All they have to do, I mean, yes, at Miami, but I think North Carolina can win at Miami. I think that's like a 50-50 game, right? And then at Virginia, at Wake, I'm sorry, and then at Duke, obviously I forgot that one, but I think they could. I think even if they lose to Wake. Where are their flat out losses in this? What? In this, I think they're going to beat Pitt in Keenan Memorial. They have a bye week before that. They almost beat Pitt in Pitt and went to overtime last year. I think they can beat them.
My problem with UNC, I think, is that I think they're too young. I think next year is really the year that you look for UNC. So obviously with Sam Howell gone, we don't know what their quarterback is going to be. They lose almost their entire offensive line. We don't know what that's going to be.
That could be a blessing.
Well, yeah, I guess, as a whole, the offense returns 49% of last year's production, which ranks 114th in the country. The defense was awful last year. I mean, they're recruiting well. They're getting talent in there, and they might have a defensive coordinator now that can do something with it. But I think that all takes time. I mean, if you look at a stretch of games like in the midseason last year, Miami dropped 45 on UNC, Notre Dame put 44. And Wake Forest put up 55 on them. I think the offense is going to be nowhere near as good as last year, and the defense is not quite ready to make up for that gap.
I still think the offense will be fucking good.
I don't know how. I mean, but maybe towards the middle or the end of the year. But how can you feel that way when there's a question mark at quarterback and O-line?
I think they've been recruiting. And I thought they did a great job in the portal, bringing in some offensive line help. They still have that stud receiver. What's his name?
Josh Downs.
Yeah, he's Josh Downs. And I think their quarterback play will be solid. I really think Longo it's like Levy. It's like wherever those guys go, I think those offenses are going to fly.
Yeah.
We've
just never seen those quarterbacks play at all, other than I think against Furman last year.
There we go.
Criswell, 21 attempts. Drake May, 10 attempts. So kind of, but both. I mean, Criswell 62% completion percentage. Drake May 70. Both 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. So good starts, but that's a lot of uncertainty for me as well to project them as the Coastal champions in a division that's very usually pretty close.
I'm just saying Drake May 4-star. This is the most interesting division in the ACC because of this. First off,
always is.
You have Pitt. I think Pitt, as much as I like their roster, based on roster, I think Pitt's the best team. But all these teams have question marks. Ryan Van Dyke, sophomore slump. He's in a brand new offense. Their receiver position is a little questionable right now.
And as much as I'm a Van Dyke guy, and I've been telling you guys this since mid-season last year, I'm starting to get worried about the hype around him too, because everybody seems to be on Van Dyke, and as a young guy, maybe that gets to you. I don't think so. I think he'll be fine. But yeah, for Pitt, I like Pitt's defense. Their defense could be really good. And
I think so too.
And with Miami and UNC, those are weaknesses, man. Those are glaring weaknesses.
Has Keaton Slovis ever completed a season healthy though? That's got to be a big question mark. So then you drop into North Carolina. Yes, they have question. All these teams to me have question marks. Virginia Tech is one that I truly have no fucking idea what to expect, but I see it at plus 1,000. I say why not? You have one of the best, if not the best, home field environment in the whole Coastal.
They're my sleeper. They're definitely my sleeper. They're getting completely slept on by everyone, and they have just as good a chance as anyone.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
I would agree that with how wacky the Coastal is, you're talking about Miami at 150, plus 150, Pittsburgh at plus 260. I don't know if that's good enough for me I don't feel that great about either one of them. So maybe you do go with more of a longer shot, like a UNC or a Virginia Tech. I mean, not that I like the Hokies this year. I'm actually on the under. The over-under's at 6.5. And I think they have a kind of a tough schedule and just so many question marks. I'm actually on the under, but I could see it making sense, to take a shot at them to win the Coastal.
I also think if without Mark Whipple, if they go back to ground and pound Narduzzi, he'll have winning seasons. He'll beat teams they shouldn't.
That's
but
huge.
They also play these close fucking games where you live by that, you die by that.
They lost to Western Michigan at home last year. Say no more.
And that's with Whipple. That's with the top 10
is Slovis. I know that the guy at USC that's now at
JT Daniels,
Georgia Southern. No, the coach. Clay Helton, decent offensive coach, gets good production out of his quarterbacks, but 58 touchdowns, 24 interceptions career for Slovis, 68% completion percentage for Slovis. I'm assuming the offense is going to be in good hands if he can stay healthy. That's a big if.
But
Pitt is, based on that defense, a shoe-in for this. I think Miami's overrated off the Cristobal hype, and I do think Van Dyke. I think they'll be one of a few teams in contention for it.
This is very fun.
It's a shit show.
Very fun. Let's talk UVA. Make me a case that UVA wins the Coastal.
Dontavian Wicks, Brennan Armstrong.
I just don't think they're that good. I think
their defense was really bad last year.
The case is the schedule and the offense.
I'm pulling up the schedule right now.
And I guess their out of conference schedule is not much at all.
They lost some offensive linemen to the portal. I mean, is that O-line? They weren't even great last year, so maybe
they lost the best center in the country in the portal. That sucks.
Brandon Armstrong learning a new offense. I mean, I imagine Tony Elliott is going to say, "Hey, we should do a lot of what we were doing last year because it was fucking amazing." But I just wonder about this team. But yeah, what were you saying about the schedule, Nick?
Well, I mean, you get Syracuse and Louisville from the Atlantic. I think that's a plus, especially Louisville at home and at Syracuse. And then your other road games in conference at Duke, at Georgia Tech, they can win both those. So really, the toughest in conference road game is at Virginia Tech, and the Hokies have owned UVA, but we have no idea how good the Hokies are going to be this year. That's still, you have to say that's a very winnable game. So they're in conference.
So awesome. This is the best schedule I've ever seen. Their road games are at Louisville, the second
not Louisville,
or at Illinois rather.
At Illinois, 5 wins last year.
Yeah.
Syracuse 4 or 5 wins last year. Georgia Tech 3 wins last year.
Duke
After 3. A bye, they even get to prep for Georgia Tech. Yeah. Did I miss the Duke one? They don't register to me.
And then 4 straight home games against all like the meat of the conference. Miami, North Carolina, Pitt, and then Coastal.
What if Tony Elliott won the Coastal?
I'll go and say it. I think this might be the easiest road schedule in Power 5.
Yeah, I think it's got to be.
Now,
even Virginia Tech had a losing record last year.
I will say, watch out for your two Sun Belt opponents coming into Charlottesville, Patty C, because obviously we know what Coastal can do, and don't sleep on Old Dominion and the Monarchs either.
Hey, it has 0 bearing on the conference race, though.
That's true.
You know, those are probably 2 of their bigger threats on this schedule because it's such a cakewalk. UVA, a definite sleeper, not getting very much hype. Brennan Armstrong probably has a gigantic chip on his shoulder about it too. Getting slept on.
All right, so let's get to this here. Who wins the Coastal? Who is your pick? I'm gonna go with the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Hi.
I don't know what to expect. If Narduzzi's going back to ground and pound, they're going to lose a couple games that they shouldn't. And Slovis is a gigantic fucking question mark. Miami put a target on their back, and I think Van Dyke's entering a new offense, and I think they have some very like the receiver positions a big question mark for the Hurricane. Then Virginia could totally fuck me over here because I'm not expecting them to be good, and that schedule's amazing. And Virginia Tech, I kind of don't know what to expect, but I like Grant Wells. I know a lot of people have been talking shit about Grant Wells. I think Grant Wells is going to prove a lot of people wrong. I think Grant Wells is going to look the part, and I do think the Hokies. I wouldn't mind that play at +1,000 to win the Coastal. So
that's the best, probably the best value in there. I don't know.
I'm taking North Carolina.
I got Clemson versus Pitt, and I have Clemson winning it. Kind of, back to the usual in the ACC.
Well, guess what? I'm taking North Carolina to beat Clemson. It almost happened. Year 1 in the Mac Brown era? They went for 2 in the win.
That's right.
They didn't get it, and I think when we pulled up those composites, Clemson right there, or North Carolina right there with Clemson as far as talent.
Go big or go home, and Colby is going large.
Yes,
Give me the Tar Heels, and by the way, to win the conference for the Tar Heels, +1,500. Throw 100 spot on that.
This might be a great look at the end of the year if it hits.
Throw 100 spot on that. I like the Gene Chizik hire. We didn't talk about that.
Right.
Gene Chizik running that defense. He won a national championship at Texas with Mac Brown winning that with that defense. They have a ton of talent. That defense was terrible last year, but they're like 4 and 5 stars on that defense. Gene Chizik, watch him.
Hard nose.
Words of Chisholm.
Words of Chisholm.
What are you doing, Patty C?
I'm going chalky a little bit. I'm going Clemson and Pitt. I went back and forth on who I think is going to win this. I really don't know.
I have no idea either. That's what I'm saying. It could be Virginia Tech, could be Virginia.
You know what? Just to be different than Nick, I'm going Pitt to win the conference.
Ooh.
I do think Pitt, dude. If Pitt plays Clemson, think about this. Pitt's going to put a ton of pressure on Clemson's offensive line. Clemson's offensive line ain't setting the world on fire. Pitt's D line can fuck. And I actually can fuck with their. I actually think that'd be a matchup that kind of favors Pitt.
Yeah,
those defensive backs against Ukulele.
How are Pitt's skill position players on offense?
That's where you got to worry a little bit. They got some transfers coming in. They're trying to do some
mirror
patchwork.
images of each other.
Well, I'd say Slovis is better than Ukulele.
Yeah. So there's probably the difference. We'll see. Clemson though, the other team, but yet. A lot of
back-to-back champs.
Pitt, yeah.
Narduzzi building this thing.
Most overrated team.
I think we're all on the same page here.
NC State. NC State.
Sorry, hometown boys.
What if you had to do most overrated for each division?
Okay.
I think
Miami.
I'm gonna throw Miami until they prove it.
Even though I'm taking them on the over for like the first time in fucking 30 years.
Same here. But
I got him on the under.
Yeah, I'm going. Who do you think? I
think you're right. I think
Miami.
Miami, yeah.
All right, folks. I can't wait. I mean, look.
What about teams that'll surprise? Should we?
Oh yeah, team that will surprise in the Atlanta. I think it's the Hokies. I like what Grant Wells did, but I'll tell you this.
In the Coastal, you mean?
Yeah, in the Coastal. You guys made a great point with Virginia's schedule, and maybe I'm misjudging them based on that schedule.
Yeah,
Like,
I think we
Such
gotta
a
go,
cakewalk.
I think I gotta go UVA. That will surprise, even if I'm not really that high on them.
I'm not high on them. I was coming in thinking like, oh, watch, they're gonna go like 4-8, and then I see that schedule. I'm like, they might be in the fucking playoffs.
Look, Virginia Tech's schedule is a joke too. Like Virginia schools just have not challenged themselves.
Well, at least Virginia Tech's got to play like at ODU.
Yeah, at Liberty.
Yeah, those are kind of
going into places that want to really beat you specifically.
And they get WVU. I'd rather WVU could beat you,
but they get them at home on a Thursday. That's
true.
Favorite Tech. They should go 4-0 in their non-conference slate, and then they get Miami at home. They got to go to UNC and
They still
Pitt.
have 6 away games though. How many does Virginia have? Because I think Virginia's schedule is easier.
Yeah, I agree with you. Virginia's got the easiest.
You only have 5.
Yeah. So I do think though, sprinkle a little bit on those Hokies. I actually do the Coastals, as far as Power 5 divisions. What, the Big Ten West and the Coastal most interesting? Maybe the Pac-12 North. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
Nick saying the
The
Big Ten
Coastal.
West is interesting.
Well, as far as
That's
wide
new.
open, right?
Yeah,
That's what we're
unpredictable and
talking
interesting are two different things here. Yeah, I mean, definitely, those are definitely. What would you say? ACC Coastal, Big Ten West, and what was the other one?
Pac-12 North.
Pac-12 North. All
With the turnover with Lanning and then DeBauer coming into Washington, I actually think every team in the Pac-12 North has a shot.
true.
Now it's still the 2 best teams though. They got rid of like you can if you win the North, it might not matter.
Yeah.
But I still feel like that division, I have a hard time forecasting when I go through the games. I'm like, who's winning this? I got no fucking idea. But all right, folks. Well, we're gonna cut to a break here, and then when we come out, we're gonna take a 5-second pause for station identification, and then we're gonna talk a little Mountain West football. But first, I gotta get us paid. I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by IP Vanish. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well be giving away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why here at SGPN Studios, we use IP Vanish VPN to make it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. IP Vanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. That means your private details, your emails, your passwords, your communications will all be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IP Vanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's really that simple. You can use IP Vanish on unlimited devices too. I mean, without sacrificing any speed. You know, you can use it on your computers, your tablets, your phones, even devices like your Fire Stick when you're streaming media. Whether I'm at home or in public, I don't go online anymore without using IP Vanish. IP Vanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's like getting 9 months for free, people. All right, so go to ipvanish.com/SGP and use the promo code SGP and claim 70% off your savings. That's ipvanish.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by Odds Trader. Yes, Odds Trader is a place to compare odds where from all major sports books. It's fantastic. Get this. You can compare the different sign-up codes, all right? And promotions from sportsbook to sportsbook to see which one will get you the best deal. It's absolutely fantastic. The app also provides player statistics, key game stats, injury reports, and projected game. Like they'll hit you with the weather. It's getting windy in Green Bay. They're gonna give you all this great information. It's also it's got a bet tracker, so it keeps track of all your bets, all your games, all your betting activity will be right there for you. Go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. That's OddsTrader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. And we're back on the college football experience. Oh man, we got the ACC out of the way. I cannot wait for week 1, week 0, all that stuff. I mean, we didn't even talk about that. Could Duquesne beat Florida State week 0? I guess we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. Duquesne beat an FBS last year, Patty C.
And we all know Florida State struggles with the FCSs.
Watch out for the Dukes. They beat Ohio, the Bobcats.
That's right.
They took them down 28-26 in Athens, Ohio.
That's right.
Watch out. Watch out. All right, now here we are with the Mountain West, and I just want to rattle off the first off. Can we talk about Me and Patty C were going through this. We were previewing some teams in the Mountain West, and they get slept on. We talk about sometimes the West Coast or the East Coast bias. I think it affects the Mountain West. Like I really believe the Mountain West has had a few years recently where they were better than the AAC. And when you look at the strength of schedule, they don't even have it anywhere close.
And the recruiting gets like completely slept on too. I think there's a huge bias.
Yeah, it's really I think underrated from a national point of view.
Like I was just saying before we were started recording that I think the Mountain West is fascinating this year because there's so many good teams. And I think the bottom of the conference is getting better as well. And I said to myself, I was like, it's too bad I can't watch more of it due to, time slots and, is it on? Is it, what channel is it on, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, me on the East Coast, I agree. There's the East Coast bias against it. I wish I could watch more of it.
It is like I said, kind of like the Sun Belt before the Sun Belt. I feel like the Sun Belt kind of followed that model, and it's fantastic.
Well, Nick hates the Big Ten West. He hates the Big 12, right? I think it's the exact middle of the country that really bothers Nick. But you get over to those mountains, all of a sudden he's interested. There has to be some defining geographic feature.
I'm a mountain guy.
That's true. Look at that.
Hiking up on a mountain. Sign me up. Hey, shout out to Joe Hackney here. Mention that, Colby, right there. He's saying that, drop a 5-star review like Joe did himself, and he got a quality college football experience shirt, not some cheap ass, Walmart thing that's going to shrink in the wash. It is a great quality t-shirt. Made in America. I'm joking. I'm not sure about
Is
that.
it?
I no idea.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I saw a live cam of like 30 little kids in a workshop making. I was like, make it faster. No, I'm joking.
Colby running the sweatshop.
Yeah. Look, this conference is a bundle of fun, but yes, please give us a 5-star review. And if you do that, take a screenshot, find us on Twitter, and we'll send you a college football experience t-shirt. But look, this conference is I got to rattle off the odds. So they are doing they've announced next year that they will be doing the essential like what the Pac-12 is doing, the top 2 records. But this year it's like the ACC. The ACC is ditching that. But I forgot to tell you that. That's the last year of the Coastal.
Right. Regardless of division.
How do you feel about the last year of the Coastal?
Well, hold on. So I believe the ACC is going to do away with the Coastal. And not just do top 2 divisions, right?
No, they're doing
Or I'm sorry, not just do top 2 records regardless of division.
They're not going to do that, or they are going to do that?
No, they're doing top 2 records in the conference.
So,
conference,
for example, the Pac-12 right now, this year they're doing top 2 records regardless of division, but they're still having the divisions.
Yes, because that was added late.
Yeah, I think
once the NCAA allowed that to happen, Klavikov was like, "Oh, we're in. We're doing this."
So the ACC is totally doing away with divisions next year, right?
Yes.
What is the Mountain West doing? Because I'm not sure.
They're getting. I think they're ditching divisions. They're ditching divisions next year. Yeah.
All right. That was my question.
So, division winner of the Mountain Division, Boise State plus 110. The Boise State's the favorite. Air Force is plus 200. Falcons right there knocking on the door. Utah State, who won the Mountain West a season ago, plus 400. Then you go to Colorado State plus 1,200, Wyoming plus 1,800, New Mexico plus 8 million. Plus what 800 to 1, right? In the West, Fresno State is your favorite at minus 140. San Diego State's plus 190 in second place there. San Jose State plus 900, Nevada plus 1,800, UNLV plus 2,500, and Hawaii plus 3,500. Anything jump out to you there about the Mountain West teams? Any shock?
I would say a total disrespect to Utah State.
Agreed.
Here's the thing. I was just peeking at their schedule. They gave themselves the hardest non-conference slate, and their conference slate's a little tough. I don't mean what you within for the conference. It's plus 900.
No, plus 400 to win the division.
The division
for the conference, It is so to win the conference, we have it at what? They're plus 900 to win the conference. So if you think Utah State's going to win back-to-back championships like Patty C has Pitt doing, then plus 900.
All I know with Utah State is that they went 9-3 in the regular season last year, and they topped that off with wins over San Diego State in the Mountain West Championships and a win over Oregon State in the bowl game.
Hold on. They beat San Diego State in the Mountain West Championship, but San Diego State had like 30 players out with COVID protocol.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Good caveat there, but they still won. And they bring back their quarterback. They bring back 4 starters on the offensive line, and they dodge Fresno State and San Diego State in the regular season from the West.
That's true.
I mean, it's crazy that I'm looking at an over/under of 7, and I'm looking at odds only the 3rd highest to win the Mountain. So I don't get it. You guys explain to
the
me,
non-conference slate is so damn
but
hard.
That's irrelevant on the division.
I know, but that's
right.
why they have decent odds to win the division, but still only have 7 wins as their number.
I will say that. I mean, for the actual win total, at Alabama and at BYU are probably definitely going to be losses. And watch out for Weber State the week after Alabama. Weber State keeps a very good FCS program.
Yeah,
and there's that stat that like teams that play Bama the week before, the next week they fucking suck. Watch out for that game. Logan should be rocking, but I'm just saying, watch out for that one. I get your point though. The cross division, they do avoid what San Diego State and Fresno.
Those are both huge.
Those are the best 2 teams in the West.
Well, at Boise's a really tough game too.
No, I'm saying in the West.
Oh, in the West.
Wyoming worked them last year. They got to go to Laramie this year on the second part of a back-to-back away.
That's tough.
I could just see. I don't know. Do you guys think Boise's just going to walk away with this? I had a hard time really forecasting the Mountain division. I feel very confident with the other division. The Mountain division, though, I'm like, I could really see a scenario where any of those 3 win it.
I mean, with Boise, it was a very uncharacteristic 7-5 last year. They get a ton of starters back, 17 returning starters, 8 on offense, 9 on defense. It's year 2 for Andy Avalos. The question is, can the guy coach?
Well, Boise beat them last year 27-3, even despite that conference championship.
In Logan.
Yeah. I'm going to chalk that one up as a loss. So from a win total standpoint, you got to figure at Alabama, at BYU, and at Boise are the definite losses. But now that I look at it, because of the San Diego State and Fresno State not on that schedule, every other game is winnable. That could get up to 9, and then 7 seems like at least a push. So I'm kind of leaning over here.
By the way, Boise gets both San Diego State and Fresno now,
but at least they're on the Smurf turf,
both at home. That's key. Now, their road trips are not bad at all. Their road trips are not bad. Now, especially in conference. Boise plays at New Mexico, at UTEP, at Air Force.
No, UTEP's at CUSA.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At New Mexico, at Air Force, at Nevada, at Wyoming.
Watch out for Craig Bull. Watch out for Laramie, baby.
And at Air Force has messed with Boise before, but at New Mexico and at Nevada, I mean, chalk those up as W's easy.
Yeah, I agree. And man, do you think they actually can get San Diego State and Fresno both and go 2-0 in that stretch? If they go 2-0 in that stretch, I feel very confident that Boise is going to win this Mountain division. But the question is, because another thing is, if you're a San Diego State fan or Fresno fan, obviously it sucks to go to the Smurf turf, but at least you get them before it gets really cold. Those are California schools. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think those games, I kind of think they're going to go 1-1 in that stretch.
I mean, are we that confident too? Because last year they lost 3 home games. Now, granted, one was to Oklahoma State, which was a questionable call. And
terrible call. Yeah.
We saw what the Cowboys did last year, but they also lost at home to Nevada by 10 and at home to Air Force last year by 7.
Air Force fucks with them. If you guys have not, even back to the Chris Peterson days, Air Force fucks with. I think Air Force had Utah State beat last year. They gave up a 17-point fourth quarter lead. I think Air Force is a true enigma in this because those like Boise going air raid and Utah State with Blake Anderson, they love to toss the rock around. Boise is kind of that MO. You saw Utah State lose to Wyoming last year, and they should have lost to Air Force. There's something about a physical run team that I think is definitely kind of gives them fits. I'm going Boise to win the Mountain Division. I don't love it. I could see any of those three winning it. Can you make the case for Wyoming or Colorado State winning the division?
I think it's too early on Colorado State, and I think Wyoming's their quarterback situation is still.
Well, Levi Williams transferred to Utah State, but Andrew Peasley from Utah State transferred to Wyoming, and it's hilarious.
With Wyoming, they only have 8 total returning starters.
It's about culture with Craig Bull.
I agree, but they're not ready. This is more of a rebuilding year. They're not ready.
I think they can still be bowling though.
Yeah, that's fair. I am on the over. I think the line is at 5. I'm over on Wyoming. I'm high, very high on Colorado State. That over under's at 5.5. That team total. I'm locking up the over with Colorado State, but still, I think they're not quite ready to compete for the division there. That might be next year. So I think it's a 3-horse race between Boise, Air Force, and Utah State. And for me, if I'm looking at 900 to 1 for Utah State,
that's true. Well, you're looking at 900 to 1 to win the Mountain West. To win the division, it was what did I say? It was plus 400, which is still pretty fucking good. I'm gonna take Boise. The Boise's plus 110. I know that's chalky as shit, but I just think with San Diego State and Fresno having to come to the Smurf turf, and I think year 2 of that offense, and I think they do feel disrespected because I think they were a lot better than the record indicated last year. A lot of close losses. Give me Boise plus 110.
Listen, you guys are crazy. Air Force is easily the pick here. 11-2 and 10-3 in the last 2 full seasons they've played. Obviously 3-3 in COVID, a little bit off. But you expect the U.S. military academies to take the COVID restrictions seriously. That could and other teams.
It hurt Navy and Army too,
with the triple option. Yeah. So and then when you consider they avoid Fresno in the non-conference, they get Boise at home all time according to Sports Reference 2-2 in at Air Force. Where is that? Colorado Springs.
That's the thing. Do you think Air Force can win at Wyoming? Because I think that's a game. I think that's like Wyoming plays their kind of game. At Utah State, I do think Air Force could win that game. At UNLV, I kind of expect Air Force to win that game. At San Diego State, though, San Diego State has kicked Air Force's ass. We pulled up these numbers.
I think they lose that, but I think they still get the division.
Okay. So you're going Falcons, or are you just making the case?
Dude, you're right. They've lost their last 3 at Wyoming.
That's what I'm saying. They play that style of ball, and I'm telling you, San Diego State's record against Air Force is fucking really good. Because ever since Rocky Long went there with that 3-3-5, he knows how to stop, and they still have a Rocky Long coach defensively.
Speaking of him, is it crazy to sprinkle someone in Mexico?
It is. Yes, their offense is. Look, I'm on the over with the Lobos, but I think the offense is still so far back.
But they've been decimated with injuries at the quarterback position. Almost like as much as Southern Miss, the last couple of years. The defense, 7 starters are back. Rocky Long improved that defense big time last year. I think with the continuity he can take another jump in year 2. So they want to run a triple option, kind of like Coastal Carolina does. They want to do the zone triple option. I think if they have some health at quarterback, I think New Mexico. Like, I'm not going to pick them to win the division. Okay, but I think they're
a great place.
Yeah.
I think they're an interesting team.
Through that door.
They're going to surprise some folks this year. They're going to win a couple games against people that you might not expect, including maybe like against. Hey, they beat Wyoming last year.
You guys mocked me. You guys gave me a hard time on our pick show. 17-point dog. I said, watch out. Give me New Mexico, and you guys gave me shit. And then they went into Laramie and they shut down that run attack. Rocky Long knows how to get. I'm telling you, if you are a one-dimensional team and you give Rocky Long a week, I'm telling you, he's going to find a way to really make you struggle.
This is where Colby really shines as a prognosticator here. Is the New Mexicos of the world where
That's
everyone
right, baby.
It's just guesswork for everyone else, and Colby's
that
got
green chili, that fucking green chili they got in New Mexico.
Boom.
All right, well, let's switch over to. He made a case for New Mexico to win the Mountain Division. That would be fantastic.
Not really.
He's trying to get followers from New Mexico right now. He's just appealing to the fans.
Really, I just thought they deserved mention because I think they're an interesting team this year, and I'm definitely on over 2.5. And I just think they're a team that bettors might want to pay attention to because I think there's value in New Mexico.
I'm on the over too.
They host Boise week 2 on a Friday night, but they have a potential. It's a look ahead spot because week 1 the Maine Black Bears come to town. Maine got an FBS win last year, so
I was just there. I'm not sure who I'm going to root for.
I'm saying you just talked to Mike Buck.
Just regional play here.
Does New Mexico go into LSU and get that dub? No, I'm joking.
Wouldn't that be great? Let's talk a little Mountain Division. I'm sorry, not Mountain Division. Let's talk the West Division. Man, I don't know what's wrong with me. Fresno State, like I said, -140. San Diego State +190. San Jose State +900. Nevada +1800. UNLV +2500. Hawaii +3500. Folks, I'm telling you, look, I feel very good about Fresno winning this division.
Yeah.
But I think if you're gonna bet this, there's not much value. Take the Spartans at +900.
I don't know.
I can tell you Nevada and Hawaii are out for me. I think maybe
UNLV's got to be out too.
I think UNLV's in a better spot. I was impressed. Like they got better as the season went along last year.
They did, but that's a huge jump.
I just think they're better than Nevada and Hawaii.
I agree. I mean,
think you might be right. Yeah.
If you look at UNLV last year, they were a top 20 ATS. They were 8-4.
They're my boys.
Yeah, especially towards the end of the year, they had an 8-point loss at Fresno, a 7-point loss at UTSA, a 4-point loss at home against Utah State, the winner of the conference, a 7-point loss to San Jose State, and an 8-point loss to San Diego State. And they played basically without a quarterback. They have Harrison Bailey coming over from Tennessee. UNLV, I think, don't sleep on them. I'm not picking them to win the division, but I'm just saying that usually you can see a team like, a year when people aren't expecting anything and they have a really good ATS record. That means they're getting competitive. And usually that means the next year they start winning some of those close games.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Perfect.
and I would say the only thing that hurts them is I do think playing in the Death Star, that's like a 50. You get it's a sleepy feel. They don't get all their I think Sam Boyd was much more it was outdoors in that fucking desert heat. I thought it was a harder place to come and do and win. I think at the Death Star, it's kind of like you're playing a neutral site game every fucking week.
I think what benefits them though is I think Nevada and Hawaii are much worse this year, and I think the west portion of the Mountain West is the worst, is the lesser division of the two. Yeah. So I think UNLV could surprise some folks.
I don't know. I'm not as low on Nevada as you guys are. I know Norvell left, but this team is projected to have 5 wins. In the last 20 years, they've only had less than 5 twice.
They keep a good pro, and look, and that was Chris Alt's recommendation. Hire him. I just think year one, there's so many pieces that left. I just feel like I feel like the hire is probably decent.
Yeah,
but you got to give the guy a little bit more time because they lost like fucking 50 people. I feel like
they're not a threat to win the conference, but as far as hitting an over, I just feel like assuming that a team that's had pretty good success for a continued period of time is going to fall off a cliff because they lost some guys. I don't know.
They lost a coach.
They lost a coach, but guess what? The Alt was better than Norvell. Boom! I said it.
Yeah, I'm smashing the under on Nevada. Look, I think Illingworth, the transfer from Oklahoma State, I think he's solid. I like their running back Toa Tau, or don't get me started with pronunciations.
Dan Saliamoa.
But the dude has over 3,000 rushing yards in his career, 25 touchdowns. But if you look at the offensive line, 44 career starts in total, and 35 of them are from one right tackle. I think it's a very inexperienced offensive line. And I think if you're in the West, you want to get New Mexico and Wyoming from the Mountain, and they get neither. I think Nevada's in for a long season. I love the under on Nevada.
I do
We'll
too.
see.
Lock that thing up.
I'm on the exact opposite tip you guys are, and two of us are either going to be looking good or eating crow, and the other one's going to be looking bad, opposite. Because Colorado State, I think you guys are overhyping with Norvell going over there, and Nevada, I think you're sleeping on because they lost Norvell.
Well, I can tell
those
you
are
this.
probably my two locks of the conference: is Colorado State over, Nevada under.
And you
No,
guys,
I love the under on Hawaii and Nevada.
Yeah.
I think both are going to be locks of mine.
yeah, Hawaii.
The only
looks-
thing what's tricky, and I know we mentioned that Hawaii with the under, just be careful because they do play 13 games.
And speaking of Hawaii, Lane Elliott in the chat says, I can't wait to bet against Hawaii late night this year, smashing the Hawaii under. That's right.
Don't
And
sleep on Timmy
if you
Chang.
follow us on Discord, I know Colby and I were talking about this a week or so ago. We love Vanderbilt laying 7 at Hawaii week 0.
Yeah, I think Vandy
Lock
is gonna
it up.
Vandy is gonna, even though Vandy, it's hilarious that we love that considering East Tennessee State went into Vanderbilt and won by 21 last year, but I'm still doing it.
Wait, you love Vandy over Hawaii?
Yes.
I'm gonna lay the 7 with Vandy
Yes.
at the Ching Complex Center. All right,
I think
bring your membership.
Look, Ching
So-
and Chang is all I got. Chang at Ching is all I got to say. That's going to be a thing. Ching Chang football.
There you go.
Okay.
There
Yeah,
you go.
Hawaii.
You see what I did there?
We're
Yes.
mentioning Hawaii. Hawaii just has 6 total returning starters, 4 on offense, 2 on defense. I'm really concerned about the Rainbow Warrior defense. I think it's going to make Vanderbilt look like Alabama.
That's true.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch. But still,
Yeah.
lay the 7.
Ken Seals for Heisman. Actually, I don't think he's starting. I think they went with the other quarterback, but
What has Timmy Chang done at his previous stops? Like,
he was a wide receivers coach at Colorado State for 2 weeks. And prior to that, he was at Nevada.
okay,
Yeah.
well, that's some good experience with Norvell.
He
then.
was with June Jones at SMU as a GA.
What if they come out and just start slinging the ball all over the place?
I would love it. I hope June is in there in practice. June's a friend of the program. We love June
I say
Jones.
stay away from Hawaii for that reason alone. Plus the 13 games that Nick said.
True. It is 4.5. So, guys, I'm telling you, the enigma here is San Jose State. San Jose State, I think, is one that I think we look at the schedule for all these other teams and say, well, they could beat San Jose State. But I also think when you load up the Sparty's schedule, it would not shock me if they I think they are capable. I know they have a tough road schedule. I think they got to play at Fresno, at Wyoming, at San Diego State, and at Utah State. I still think though that they're going to be in those Fresno and San Diego State games. Now, can they win it? That remains to be seen. But I think Chevin Cordiero with Brent Brennan's offense, watch out. And they went and got 2 really good wideouts from Nevada. Stovall, what was it? Marquise Stovall?
Maurice.
Yeah. And a couple other guys that I thought key acquisitions that they got. And then the defense was pretty fucking good last year. You got to remember last year, 2 years ago, they won the Mountain West. Now I know that was a COVID season, but last year me and Nick we locked them up. We were wrong. That was one of our locks we were wrong with. We still hit 71%. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. But last year they had injuries at quarterback the whole season that plagued them. I think with Cordiero and then that defense still last year, that defense was respectable and they bring back 8 on defense. And I think they bring in a couple key transfers that could make a difference. Watch out for Sparty. I think Sparty's kind of like Virginia Tech here or perhaps North Carolina when comparing it to the Coastal.
Just the enigma of the conference.
Yeah.
You may be right. That defense is so. You said 9 coming back.
They got the Mountain West Cade Hall. Cade Hall, the defensive end, Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year 2020. He's back. This is a team that got bit by the injury bug a little bit.
Cordiero is another part of that. That is.
Yeah, I think they're an interesting team. Now,
Perhaps my judgment's clouded because last year I was expecting so much more, and last year they only beat 4 FBS teams, and those 4 teams were Hawaii, New Mexico State, UNLV, and Wyoming. That's a combined 17-33 record.
true.
They were close against San Diego State.
Yeah.
Got whipped by Colorado State. Got whipped by Western Michigan. got whipped by Fresno, whipped by Utah State. They weren't competitive in some of those games, and that was with Starkel playing.
Yeah,
I do think Cordero might be a step up over Starkel, but Cordiero's been hit or miss, inconsistent. He's shown flashes in his career. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what to expect from San Jose.
Well,
if you look at Brennan's record, other than that 1 year,
no,
not a whole lot there.
5-7 at San Jose State. They'll take that after how bad they were before. But
true,
dude. Much like Jerkovic came back the final couple games and he really couldn't throw the ball much. They were using him. I think the same can be said for the way not KJ Jefferson,
Starkel.
but Starkel. I from what I read that he had not been really healthy the whole year. So yeah, I'm not saying they're going to win the conference, but I do think they're a team that is probably a lot better than what we think. And I yes, they got whipped by a couple teams. San Diego State won this division last year. They took them to double overtime. Nevada was right there in contention with San Diego State to win that division. They lost by 3 on the road. I'm telling you, I think this team could be better than what we're projecting here.
So
obviously,
their over-unders, their team total is at 6.5. I'm actually on the under. I think they go to 6-6 this year. Certainly not a favorite play. I think there's a wide range of possible outcomes for the Spartans. I'm just not buying in, and maybe I'm a little bit jaded over last year. I don't know.
I'm on the over, but I don't feel great about it because once again, I'm calling them like North Carolina or Virginia Tech because I do think they are capable. And I think Cordero adds an element to this offense that I think could really, with those receivers and Kerry Robinson at running back, I think this offense could be really good. And then we know the defense was good. The defense wasn't a problem last year, and they returned almost everybody. So
if 2020 was something that we can expect from Brennan Armstrong, that was an insane surprise. 7-1, that makes what 7 and
Brennan Armstrong, Brent Brennan,
Brent Brennan, right? Not Brennan.
I was like, where the fuck are you taking this?
Too many Brennans, too many Brennans in the world. If Brent Brennan at 7-1 in 2020, if they can get the offense going like they had, if Cordero is anything like Starkel, then yeah, you're right.
And I don't even think he's going to be like Starkel. I think Cordero adds the run element that is so much. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards.
I'm not a big Starkel guy. I mean, he was solid. He was better than the alternative there. But it's a guy that started at A&M, went to Arkansas, then finally landed at San Jose State. Not trying to knock the dude. I thought he was kind of average, Joe.
Cordero last year was kind of crazy because you had like this situation with Todd Graham where the whole team like quit in the middle of the year on Todd Graham. But if you actually look at his stats, I remember his freshman year. I forget who they were playing, but I was like, who the fuck is this? This guy is good. And he jumped off screen to me. If you look back just a couple years ago now, yeah, I think it was 14 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. They didn't throw the ball a lot, but the guy, he's got wheels, man. He got wheels. Had 483 yards rushing. I think if they can use him, he's just super athletic. We'll see. Now you could also get injured by playing like that, but I think they're the most interesting team in this division.
Well, I think San Diego State's pretty interesting also.
Well, I'm about to say, let's get
to my pick here.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
I mean, this is outrageous here. San Diego State. We looked at this 5 10-win seasons in the last full 6 seasons they played, COVID being excluded. They're getting 7.5 wins as their projection here. The teams that they're most likely to, I guess, that should put the fear of them in: Utah, Boise, maybe Air Force. They all beat last year. They beat all 3 of them. Now at Fresno, I almost think because that's at Fresno, I should take Fresno to win the division.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got a funny feeling about San Diego State.
Braxton Burmeister. Once again, you can make this case. He's got wheels. If they use him as another element of their run attack,
He wasn't very good at Virginia Tech.
he was athletic though. How many yards did he rush for last year? Braxton
I think it was
Burmeister.
at least like 500.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I'd agree. Use him the right way. That's the key.
But San Diego State loses punt god, and losing punt god is a huge hit because that guy was a beast.
Yeah, 521 rushing yards for Burmeister last year. 14 touchdowns passing, 4 interceptions.
Yeah,
respectable.
I mean, he's never like wowed
He's
me.
perfect for San Diego State, dude.
True.
Don't turn the ball over.
Well,
Don't turn the ball over and run for first downs.
Yeah, stretch
Lucas
the defense.
Johnson and Jordan Brookshire transferred out, and the thing that has me concerned is that they won so many close games last year. They won.
That's their style, though.
Well, their style lends itself to close games. I agree.
Yeah.
The question is, can you continue winning them at such a high clip? That's iffy.
Their defense is nasty though.
Yes, they had 2 multi-overtime wins, one against Utah, which is a very nice win, obviously. And then they beat San Jose State in double overtime. But then, I mean, a 6-point win over Air Force, a 7-point win over Hawaii, 2-point win over Nevada, 8-point win over UNLV. Can we count on that? Can we count on the Aztecs winning that many close games again? Usually the ball bounces different ways from year to year.
I'll have you know also that San Diego State was up 20-0 in that Air Force game. They were up 20-0. I understand Air Force scored 2 touchdowns and made it look 2014, but I was watching that game and I remembered being like, damn, because I thought Air Force was going to play them closer. But I mean, you make a good point, and especially because Punt God was also their kicker. Special teams is going to be huge, but I do think that defense will be nasty. I'm still going Fresno. I'm taking Fresno to win this division because I love Jeff Tedford, and I think he walks into a great scenario. And I also thought they really won the transfer portal. How do you see? What do you think?
I already told you what I think. I think this is.
You think San Diego State's winning the division?
Gosh, I think Fresno State's schedule though is a little easier, and the fact that they get San Diego State at home, I should probably take Fresno to win this division.
Patty, that's the other thing now. Do they have a real home field advantage? Do they have the snapper?
That's true.
I am excited to see.
Actually, Fresno does.
Yeah, Fresno does.
Yeah.
Fresno's got Fresno fans show up.
Does San Diego State have a home field? They actually have a stadium now.
That's going to be interesting.
Not the Dignity Health and Wellness Center.
That's even more impressive, though. To Patty C's point, is they were playing neutral games last year for the whole fucking season.
True. You know what's not a bad bet? So last year, the Mountain West Championship was Utah State at San Diego State, and I feel like both of them are undervalued this year for no reason, because I think they both are going to be good again.
Yeah, they're thinking step back big time.
Well, if you had to pick one of them to win in Boise, because they both play in Boise back-to-back weeks, I think Fresno's got the better chance. Fresno and San Diego State back-to-back weeks play in Boise. I think I give Fresno the better chance to win in Boise.
Hainer is just so potent.
Yeah,
I think I agree.
I don't know. I probably should take Fresno, but I just got a funny feeling about the Aztecs with the snapper this year.
I do think they're going to go undefeated in the snapper. All right.
So, but you guys both have. Can I reveal? I mean, you've already said it. Fresno.
Yes. I'm taking Fresno just because Jake Hainer, dude. Like in I think Tedford is actually better than DeBauer. I think DeBauer did great, but I think Tedford will actually even take Hainer to the next level.
At least as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love some love for San Diego State because I think that team totals at 7.5, which I think is way too low.
That's my lock of the year through however many previews we've done so far. That just seems ridiculous.
Well, I just feel like they're better at the quarterback position too,
And the
now
defense is still going to be there.
And the home stadium.
Yeah.
Like there's 3 elements there that are pretty. Yes, they lose Greg Bell, but they've had great running backs for like 30 years there. You know what I mean? I feel like they're just be like, oh, here's the next guy, Chance Bell, right?
Well, really, it's disrespectful to Utah State and San Diego State to have team totals at 7 and 7.5 when they had great seasons a year ago and they return a lot, and there's no reason why they shouldn't have good seasons again.
I agree. I mean, you actually look at San Diego State's schedule, and okay, Utah. Is that we're going to deem that a flat out loss, right?
They won last year.
That's about to say, even though they
Utah,
dominated the Pac-12.
Yeah,
at Utah, though, that's a loss.
Then they have at Boise and at Fresno. My problem is they just get everyone on the road.
The first game, I mean, is Arizona a definite win?
I want to take Arizona. If we're going to drop we just recorded the San Diego State one. I wanted to take Arizona because Jaden Delora, I think, is everyone's talking about Caleb Williams. I think Jalen Delora to Arizona and Cameron Ward to Washington State are like very underrated transfer gets that I think could be on the same level of USC landing that kid. But my problem is Arizona's defense. They're not a physical team. San Diego State is fucking physical, and I just wonder. I think Arizona's getting there. Like from a talent perspective, Jed Fish had his best recruiting class, I think, in the history of the program since they've been documenting it. They brought in some big time transfers, but are they ready to get physical with the Aztecs, and I don't know until I see it. I gotta take San Diego State.
It's a big game because I think at Utah, at Boise, and at Fresno are losses for San Diego State.
Look,
Yeah,
if you think they're going to lose in the snapper on their opener,
they whooped Arizona's ass last year. Did we mention that they went to Tucson and won 38-14?
If they beat Arizona, I think you're clear sailing for the over. No problem.
They're going to massacre Arizona.
Nobody goes into the snapper and gets the dub.
That's right.
All right, so our championship game. I have Fresno and Boise. I'm going chalk, but it's not chalk because we haven't seen this since 2019. And believe it or not, Boise State hasn't won a Mountain West championship since 2018. This would be now. Here's the question: they do the home field thing. They don't play. Or wait, are they in Vegas now? They used to do they do the home field thing because that's why I was at Vegas. Dignity Health.
Yeah.
During COVID, they did go to Vegas for a strange reason. I don't know why, but so if Fresno State wins in Boise, then Boise's got to come to the Valley. If Fresno loses in Boise, they'd have to go to the Smurf turf again, which they did in 19. They did in 19. So I don't know. Give me Boise to win the Mountain West this year is what I'm saying.
Wow. Coming from 7-5, it's a lot of faith in Andy Avalos.
I'm going Fresno. I'm going the better coach. I think Fresno wins it. I was torn between. I didn't see much value in Boise, so I was torn between Air Force and Utah State. Just the disrespect factor. Give me Utah State to represent the Mountain and Fresno to beat them in the championship.
Where will that be at though? Will that be in
at
Logan
Fresno.
or okay? I will agree that if it's in Fresno, I feel good about Fresno winning it. But if they have to go to the Smurf turf, and they'll be cold as shit. You won't be able to throw the ball as much.
Hold on, who's he got? He's got Utah State.
I got Fresno. No, Fresno beating Utah State.
Fresno beating
in Fresno though.
Okay.
Yes.
I got Boise winning on the Smurf turf against Fresno. Awesome game.
Yeah.
What are you doing here, Petty C?
I'm going back-to-back weeks.
Is
Air
the
Force
snapper going to host it?
Air Force at San Diego State, back-to-back weeks to close the season. San Diego State getting them twice.
Damn.
Closing
When's the last
hard.
time Air Force made a Mountain West championship? Is it? I feel like
last year they tied. Last year they had the same record, but because of that tiebreaker, they had the same record. So I do think it has been a while for the Falcons.
Well, all right. So most overrated team and a team that will surprise.
The most overrated team in the Mountain West is going to be, man, I'm going to have to say Boise, who I just said. Oh, man.
It's been since 2015 since Air Force played in the Mountain West Championship, and they lost to San Diego State that year.
Most overrated team is Nevada with 5 wins. Does that count? I mean, or Air Force. How about that? Air Force.
Ooh,
Air Force
your
plays.
boys.
Look, their style of
triple
ball
option.
they play, the style of ball they play leaves them for and the triple option gets them a bunch of wins every year. And also like the way they lost the game to Utah State last year. So, I guess
I'm saying Boise myself. I don't like it because I'm a Boise guy, but I need to see Avalos prove it. So until then, I'm gonna say Boise's overrated with that. I mean, they have the highest win total of the whole conference.
I hate going chalk, man. I want to take Fresno
as overrated.
No, as the champ. You know what? Fuck this. I'm going Fresno.
Yeah, go with
Fresno
your heart,
beats Boise early in the season, so therefore the game's in the Valley.
So they sweep them.
So they sweep them.
Ooh.
There you go.
Let's go.
There
Let's
it
go.
is.
Shout out to Pat Hill. What
Bulldogs? Well, I'm gonna say, don't you guys ever dare sleep on Brad Roberts, Air Force.
I do.
Back.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah. My overrated team is not Air Force because I want to root for them. I'm going Nevada. Nevada is the Air Force team.
Just Google Brad Roberts in the top left picture. I mean, that is an all-American son of a bitch.
That's
right
true.
The quarterback, Zeke Daniels, too. He deserves love.
That's true. That's what I'm saying. Fuck that. I'm not taking Air Force as overrated. I'm taking Nevada as overrated, and I'm taking Boise. All right.
I guess when you put a man in uniform, he always looks good, doesn't he? Zeke Daniels does look good too in uniform. Let's be honest.
All right, folks. Do we have anything else we want to say about the Mountain West?
I'm going to say this: Colorado State overrated. I think you guys are overrating them. We're gonna see how well Norvell gets that thing going.
I can't wait for them to upset Michigan game 1. All right.
That would be a flex. The flex,
right.
the flex is there if you guys get it.
All right, folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. Remember, we're breaking down all 131 teams with a solo podcast for each and every team in the land. We just dropped the Rice Owls episode. Who? They're gonna have a big year. Mike Bloomgren. All right, he's selling you stocks on TV, right? Anyway, check us out. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Also subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. Also subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast. They're going through all 32 NFL teams. So whoever your team is, they're got you covered with an episode breaking down the win totals, what they like about the team, what they don't like about the team. Check it out. It is a lot of fun. Football season is here, folks. All right. This is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Hippie Olympics. Doesn't matter who wins because they're all losers.
I think tide turning, as I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of turn. It's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
Nothing is over! The best looking man.
Coaching, coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in the second half. It sucked.